Well, hi guys, it's that time. It's our Bible teaching snippet of the day. Well, I want to show you my shirt, and I have to hurry up because I got a lot to tell you today, and I'm trying to keep them short, but this is such an in-depth teaching. My little shirt I got on, Courtney gave me this, my kid Courtney, and it's an I tag. It says, "I talk about God" on the back. I used to never wear t-shirts, okay? I've never been a t-shirt girl. But Jesus said that when you sit at someone's table as their guest to eat the food they set in front of you, because it's an act of respect, okay? I respect people because they give me t-shirts, so I started wearing them. And now I just wear t-shirts, and I'm happy to wear them. I love to wear them in public because I'm a walking billboard. It's a welcome mat for people. When they see I pray or prayer warrior or something about healing, people flock to me and want me to pray and talk to them. So I love my t-shirts, and most of my t-shirts people give to me. So anyway, I love my t-shirts, and I love this t-shirt. I love to wear them out in airports and at the local markets and stuff. So let's get started, and I'm going to dig in. My last teaching that I did on Saturday, not my Monday story, but the teaching I did on divorce. And that's kind of a carryover from me teaching about the woman at the well, where Jesus told her that she had had 5 husbands, and the man she lived with now, she was not married to. Okay. He did not say she was divorced 5 times, although that's what people read into that. And they also read into that she's living in some sexual crazy relationship, and she'd be a dead woman because they would stone her. So she was living with a relative, a male relative. Anyway, so let's move into part 2 of my teaching on divorce, okay? And now this will get deep. And I'll say this, there's going to be people that disagree with me, and you are absolutely welcome to disagree with me, okay? I have heard all the teachings from all the pulpits and all the different denominations, so there's nothing that you can tell me that I haven't already studied out from that perspective and that angle, okay? But I want to bring out the fullness of some scriptures today and show you what some Greek words really mean and maybe give you a different angle on this, okay? So today, what I want to do, and let me just review this real quick. In our last teaching on divorce, Jesus told the men that the reason that Moses had to put the legal precept or the law, put it into the law, that men had to give a written divorce to women, is because they were sending the women out homeless with nowhere to go, with even their children and stuff. So the divorce decree was actually put in place to make men stop abusing women and throwing them out, okay, and not having any responsibility toward them, okay? So that's why Moses did it, and Jesus said that in Mark chapter 10, verse 5. He said it was because of the hardness of your heart. You were not treating women right. You were just throwing them out on the street, and Moses put that in to make you do the right thing. Okay. So today, what I want to do is I want to go over to Matthew chapter 5, verse 31 and 32. But before I go any further, I need to say this, okay? I'm going to read some meanings today that's kind of adult. Okay, so I want you to use your best discernment. Listen to this first before you let little tender ears hear this, okay? I don't want anybody taken by surprise, okay? So that's my warning. So I'm in Matthew chapter 5, verse 31 and 32, and I'm going to read it in the Darby because it's very, very good as far as following what the Greek words say and not changing them. And I also like it in the Disciples' Literal New Testament. But let me just read this real quick. Okay, and this is in red. Jesus said it. It has been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a letter of divorce. But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, except for the cause of fornication, makes her commit adultery. And whosoever marries one that is put away commits adultery. Okay. Now this has been taken to teach that the only reason that anybody can get a divorce is if she's been unfaithful. that would actually go against what Deuteronomy 24 verses 1 and 2 say. And Jesus did not break the law. And he also not only fulfilled and kept the law, he also warned other people not to break the law and not to teach others to break the law. So, how could Jesus be teaching people that they can't get a divorce, but then it was okay to get a divorce in Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1 and 2? Because it's very clear there. It says, if you set aside or put away the woman, you must give her a decree or a little book of divorce, and then you can send her away. And if she wants to, she may marry another man. It's clearly telling us in Deuteronomy 24, verses 1 and 2, that you can get a legal divorce and that she can legally get married again. Okay. So Jesus is not going against what Moses said. Remember, Moses was God's representative, and he wrote God's laws down the way that God told him to. Okay. Moses is dealing with fallen men there who wanted to just abuse women. So let me ask you something. Do you think fallen men and women, fallen people, are still abusing each other? Well, of course they are. I've met people that aren't really doing the right thing with their spouses, okay? So there's no way Jesus would override the provision that Moses put in place for people with hardness of heart when people still have hard hearts. Okay, so now I have to explain to you and show you proof in the Bible that Jesus was not overriding what Moses said. But before I do, I want to read this to you. This is in Matthew 5:17 through 19, and this is Jesus. And Jesus says, don't think that I have come to destroy the law of Moses or the teachings of the prophets. Did you know Moses was a prophet? So Jesus did not come to destroy Deuteronomy 24, nor oppose what Moses taught. Okay, and down here, 19, it says, and whosoever refuses to obey and teaches other people not to obey that command will be the least important in the kingdom of heaven. One more proof scripture. James chapter 2, verse 10. And it says, for whosoever shall keep the whole law, and that word is capital law, L-A-W, that means the Torah, the laws that Moses wrote down, the Torah, and yet fail in one point, he is guilty of all. So right here, we see that Jesus never broke the law, and he's not teaching us that we should break the law, or he's not changing the law. Okay, let me show you what this scripture really says, and I want to break this down the best that I can here. In verse 32, I'm going to read it this way. But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, and he does not give her a letter of divorce, that man is forcing her to commit adultery. And whoever marries the one that is put away, that doesn't have a divorce paper, that man is committing adultery as well. I believe what Jesus was saying is that when people put away, and they were still putting them away without giving them divorces, even though it was the law that Moses said they had to do, they would still throw a woman out and make her leave and not give her a written divorce decree, because it kind of kept her attached to him legally. He could put her on the back burner and he could still own her. And she couldn't be with another man and move on in life. And what Jesus was saying, let me tell you what's even worse. When you put away a woman and you send her away and you don't do the legal paperwork and break that off legally, you are forcing her, unless she stays alone and stays connected to you so you can abuse her, you are forcing her to commit adultery because she hasn't severed the legal contract that she had with you. And you're forcing the man who falls in love with her and wants to marry her, you're forcing him to commit adultery because she's still legally bound to you. That's what I believe Jesus was saying here. Now I need to explain to you that little sentence and that little phrase in there that says, except for the cause of fornication. You know, so many people have taught this except for when she's unfaithful to you. Did you know that word fornication does not mean adultery? Those are two different words. And today I want to explain that to you, because I did not know this. This is new, you know, but I just get in and start studying and pulling words. And so let me show you what the word fornication right here in this sentence means. It's number 4202, and it's porneia, Porneia. And guess what words we get in the English from that? You got it, porn, pornography, all of that. It is shown in our Bibles 25 times. That word appears in our Bibles 25 times. Interestingly, it is not at all ever in any case used to indicate adultery. None. Let me tell you what it really means in the Strong's. Ready? This is where the little ears get tender. Illicit sexual intercourse, fornication, homosexuality, lesbianism, intercourse with animals, and intercourse with a close relative. That's what fornication means. So let me say this. What I believe Jesus was saying is that you need to do the right thing. When you put your wife away, you give her divorce papers. And the only reason that you should not let her have a legal divorce that breaks the ties with you is if she has committed fornication. And if she's committed fornication, you do not have to give her a written divorce, freeing her to move on and enter into another relationship with another man, because then you'd be passing her immoral acts in the marriage over to another innocent man who would have to deal with her fornication. So let me read it like this. So whoever should put away his wife and not give her, you do not have to give her a written divorce in this one case, if she is committing fornication. You do not have to give her a written divorce if she is having illicit sexual intercourse, homosexuality, lesbianism, intercourse with animals, or sleeping with one of her close relatives. That's what Jesus was saying there. Now I want to show you where the word fornication was used by Paul. It was in 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 1. And Paul says, set him aside, get him out of the church, and let Satan have his flesh, and maybe his soul or his spirit will be saved. But even this kind of sexual misconduct is not even known to the people of other pagan nations. That's how, and he was talking about the fact that this young man was actually having intercourse with his stepmother. It wasn't his mother, but it was his stepmother. He was sleeping with his father's new wife. And Paul said, get rid of him. He doesn't need to be around any of y'all, because he needs to be put out and stay out until he stops doing this. So before I hang up on you today, because now I've got a lot more, and I'm going to do a part 3, because now I've got to defend what I have said today, and I know that. It's okay. I've got a lot more studying done on this than just this one little thing. I want to talk to you before I let you go, though, about down here where it says commits adultery. And it says it twice right here in verse 32. Now I need to tell you what the word adultery means, and that number. That number in the Strong's Concordance is number 3429. It's only used 5 times in our Bibles. And the word is moichao, kind of like macho. Okay. It is never used to identify someone committing fornication. This word is exclusive to mean to have unlawful intercourse with another person's spouse. See, so now we're talking about 2 different things, fornication and adultery, 2 totally different things. Well, listen, I've used up my time today, but I'm going to pick up tomorrow and show you some more stuff that makes this come together where you know that this is exactly what Jesus was talking about, okay? Is that a deal? I'll see you here tomorrow. Bye-bye.